Well, hi everyone. I am Kareth, and I'm so glad you found my channel. Today I'm going to do something that's really different than what I usually do. I've been kind of wanting to try this, and I didn't really know how to go about doing it, but eventually I just picked up the camera and my tripod and just started filming. I'm going to show you basically what I eat in a week, Thrive Life Edition. I don't eat 100% Thrive Life all the time. I just don't do that. What I do is I combine our Thrive Life purchases with our grocery store purchases. I am going to bring you along with me as I make all of my lunches and dinners this week. Well, most of them. There was one night when we went to a fellowship group thing for our church, and I did not film that. And one night we had grilled shrimp Caesar salads, and I didn't use any Thrive at all on that one, so I did not film that. But most of the time, I would say probably 80% of the time, our meals contain some sort of Thrive Life ingredients. I thought it might be interesting to my customers for you to just kind of see how I use Thrive in the kitchen all week long. So thanks for joining me in my kitchen. Okay, so this very first meal, I am just going to saute some mushrooms. Drew was grilling cheeseburgers outside, and he had wanted me to make some sauteed mushrooms to go along with it. And we're trying to do low carb, at least I am, and sauteed mushrooms is one of our very favorite things. In this video, I'm really not going to talk about the recipes so much as I'm going to talk about the food. So these mushrooms, they're one of my very favorite things. My best friend Amy hates mushrooms, so Amy, just please ignore this part of the video. I love mushrooms, and I really wanted y'all to see how the mushrooms respond whenever you put the water on them. They rehydrate really easily, and then they act just like normal mushrooms that you're used to from the grocery store, maybe. Once they have rehydrated, you can add butter or olive oil, and then you can saute them. Sauteed mushrooms are one of my very favorite things as a side, especially when we're doing low carb. I really love the flavor of the Thrive Life mushrooms. I don't know how they get perfect mushrooms every time, but every can I've ever had from Thrive has delicious mushrooms. I love the smell. I love the taste. I love pretty much everything about them. And as you can see in this video, they behave just like regular mushrooms would behave. So I think if you're a fan of sauteed mushrooms, whether on burgers or just as a side, the Thrive mushrooms are fantastic. If I buy fresh mushrooms from the grocery store, I guarantee you they will go slimy and black on me by the time I get to the end of the container. I just don't eat them fast enough. So I love having these on hand. They are not only really convenient, but they help me to reduce food waste in our home. You can see how wonderful they look when they are sauteed. They look amazing and they taste just as amazing. I highly recommend the mushrooms. If anybody likes mushrooms, this is a fantastic purchase. And this handsome guy is my teddy bear. All right, for one day at lunch, I wanted to have some queso because I love queso. In fact, one of my daughters, Ashley, she used to say when she was little that she had a separate stomach. She called it her queso stomach. And we live near San Antonio, and we have access to fantastic queso, which is like a cheese dip. I have a recipe on my channel already for this queso, And you can look for that if you want the measurements and all that, or the exact recipe. But I kind of wanted to just show you, this is something that is not too hard to accomplish just during the week and at lunch. I was home by myself. Like I said, I was doing, or I am doing keto, so I'm trying to keep things low carb. And Thrive Life has a fantastic cheese sauce that they sell that is quick and easy, and you just add water. But their cheese sauce is too high in carbs for me right now because I'm trying to watch my carbs. So I developed a recipe using Thrive Life cheeses, which have no carbs, and just combining that with the sodium citrate and the water and melting it. And it turns into a fantastic cheese sauce, or we call it here, we call it queso. And this is the kind of cheese sauce that will not separate on you when you reheat it. So it's wonderful for leftovers. I wanted this on some nachos. So I had some leftover taco meat that we had from the weekend. And I just thought, oh my goodness, that sounds really good. I had gotten these low carb chips at Walmart called Quest. They're protein chips, and they had them in the taco flavor. So I had these chips that I wanted to use, and I had this leftover taco meat. So I thought, yeah, I want to make some queso. I wanted to show you how quick the process is. Now, yes, I've sped up the video, but the whole thing didn't take me but maybe 10 minutes. It just doesn't take long. So when you have Thrive Life ingredients ready on your pantry shelf, look at this. I'm putting green chilies in here. I'm adding tomatoes. I think I do some onions and some garlic. Yeah, anyway, they're already chopped for me. It's just so fast to add ingredients or vegetables or whatever to whatever you're making. It makes it really easy to incorporate more veggies in your diet. I love our garlic. It's delicious. And like I said, the full recipe is written on the queso video that I already have up on my channel. And you're welcome to go and find that. I write all the full recipes in the video description boxes below the videos. But that is how it turned out. And so that right there, those are the low carb protein chips and the leftover taco meat. It's ground turkey meat. So yeah, this was a really yummy lunch. It was super tasty. It did not take long to make, and it's just one of those things that you think, oh, I don't have time to make homemade queso. But yeah, you probably do. It was really delicious. Highly recommend. And there's my sweet boy again. All right. Snacking is just one of those things that is hard when you're on keto or trying to do low carb. But I have found that our Granny Smith apples are a great snack for me. Now, I can't have too many of them, but they are so delicious and they're really crunchy. And so, what I do is I soften some cream cheese and sour cream, just a couple tablespoons of each. I add some cinnamon. I add some sweetener. That's allulose. It's a low carb sweetener. You could add brown sugar or whatever you like. But it makes for a fantastic dip for our Granny Smith apples. So, I wanted you to see what they look like. They are peeled and sliced and good size apple slices. And they're perfect for dipping. And I really enjoy this little snack. I can eat just 5 or 6 slices. Yeah, can you hear that crunch? I can eat just 5 or 6 slices of these and I'm satisfied. So yeah, I just wanted to show y'all. That's typically how I eat our fruit. It's just raw and out of the can. What a cute picture, right? All right, this is what we had for dinner that night. I made some creamed spinach to go along with the steaks that Drew was grilling outside. I've got a recipe for a meal in a jar, or it's a side in a jar actually, for it's called Steakhouse style creamed spinach, and it's a great recipe. Highly recommend. But that recipe is higher in carbs than what I'm wanting to do right now because it includes the bechamel sauce in the recipe. So I thought I can make basically the same creamed spinach recipe, but I can significantly cut down on the carbs if I leave out that bechamel sauce powder. And I just was going to do this on the stovetop anyway. So I included some sour cream in this and some cream cheese actually, because I wanted my daughter Ashley to try it. She doesn't love spinach, but she really does like spinach dip. And I thought, yeah, it'll taste more like spinach dip if I put the cream cheese in there. So our spinach is fantastic, y'all. It's just gorgeous. Look how bright green it gets whenever you hydrate it. But there are some little kind of chunks of spinach in there that you have to kind of break up with your whisk. Just make sure that the water can get to it and can rehydrate it. Spinach is one of those things that if I buy it fresh, then it kind of wilts before I get it all eaten. If I buy it frozen, then I just don't really like the taste of it very much. I don't know. I just like Thrive Life's spinach. You can't have too much cheese, right? Okay, once your cheese is melted, then it is ready. And it's nice that you can make just a couple of servings. I was just making 2 servings for my husband and for me. So it's perfect. Thrive Life is the answer to food waste in our home. It's brilliant. Sweet boy had a leaf stuck in his hair, and I just thought that was so cute. Okay, the next day I was really wanting to use up some leftovers that I had in the fridge from a couple of days before. I had cooked up some chicken thigh meat and I had some chicken thigh left, and I thought, yeah, I want quesadillas today. And I had bought some low carb tortillas, and I just thought, yeah, this is what I want today. And I'm going to be using some tomatoes, green chilies, and onion. And then, yes, I did add some garlic here. I wanted you to see how quickly these veggies will rehydrate, or they call it refresh. So you just add a bit of water and then turn on your heat, and pretty much immediately those veggies will start to soak up that water. Some people like to put the vegetables into a bowl that has a lid, and then they'll pour the water on it and shake it up a bit, close the lid, shake it up, and that's how they rehydrate their vegetables. You can totally do that. That's a great way to do it. I just thought I'm going to heat these up anyway and saute them. So if you're going to saute the veggies, you might as well just do it in the skillet. And once you get to almost a dry pan, you can add your oil, like a olive oil or a butter or something like that, and then saute those vegetables. So just like regular fresh vegetables, you can saute Thrive Life vegetables once you've rehydrated them. I added my leftover chicken and then heated it through. Once you get some color on these vegetables, they really do brighten up in flavor. They just taste so good. And I know this is on fast forward, but seriously, this does not take long. It doesn't take long at all. I used fresh cheese that I had grated in the fridge, but you could definitely use Thrive Life cheddar or pepper jack. Once you rehydrate that, it melts up beautifully. So there's my veggies and my chicken that I had heated through, and then I just kind of folded over the quesadilla because I just wanted one tortilla, and then just get a little bit of color on each side of that tortilla. and then it will be ready. So there is my chicken quesadilla with Thrive Life vegetables. I served that with some green avocado salsa, some fresh cilantro, a bit of sour cream, and regular red salsa as well. It was really yummy. I love Thrive Life tomatoes, green chilies, and onions. Teddy Bear is my constant companion in the kitchen, and I am just so thankful for him. He's our little rescue doggy. All right, this next recipe that I did was for barbecue chicken sandwich. I based this on a recipe that my friend Cheryl had shared on her channel. And I think it's one of those Thrive Life recipes, the ones that come from their website, because I think it's named after one of our founders or something like that. And I put my own kind of spin on it, and I'm doing it low carb. So it's a little bit different than the original recipe, but it is based on that. I'm using more of that leftover chicken thigh meat, and I'm just going to combine it with the bell peppers, the onions, and some barbecue sauce. This was probably my favorite recipe that I did this week out of everything. And I had some really good recipes, but this probably was my favorite. I just really loved the way it turned out. And the fact that I could make it low carb, I was thrilled. Once again, I like the flavor of sauteed vegetables. So I hydrate these vegetables and then I saute them. Bell peppers are just one of those things that I do not do a good job of using up before they go bad if I buy the fresh ones. So I love having Thrive Life bell peppers on my shelf because that way I'm not wasting food. I think you probably get the idea that I hate wasting food, and I really do. And I just never really figured out how to do it well, how to manage that well until I found Thrive Life. So I have basically eliminated food waste in our home by using Thrive Life. That's how I save money using these groceries. All right, so I used some sugar-free barbecue sauce and then I just kind of steamed the cheese until it melted. And oh, y'all, it was so good. That right there is a low-carb keto bun that I found at Walmart. And I was so happy to find that because that way I could have a sandwich. See how beautiful this is? It's so fantastic. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make that again. It wasn't hard. Just saute some vegetables, put in some chicken, throw in some barbecue sauce, melt some cheese, and boom. It's so good. I loved it. And y'all will be proud of me that even though I put those sweet pickles on that plate for the picture and the crunchy, beautiful potato chips, I did not eat them. I was good and I stayed on my low carb, but I put them on there for the picture. I thought they were pretty. And just look at my sweet boy laying in the grass there. He loves to get him some sunshine. Okay, I made a strawberry vinaigrette one day because I just didn't want to eat that much. I wasn't very hungry, but I wanted just maybe a salad. And I thought, yeah, I could show them how to do the strawberry vinaigrette. I've got a full recipe on my channel already for this. I do different things every once in a while. I mix things up. I put some Dijon mustard in this one. And since I'm doing the low carb, I am going to use a sugar substitute that's allulose. In the original recipe, I use honey, but you can do whatever you would like. It just needs a little bit of sweetness. And a vinaigrette is just one of those things that is a brilliant use for our fruit. So I am going to use the strawberries, but I think you could also do this with the raspberries. Perhaps about the blackberries, I'm not sure, but definitely the strawberries and the raspberries. I kind of was distracted and I didn't think about what I was doing and I dumped that whole thing in there. I ended up having to add more oil and more vinegar. But this is a very, very quick way to make a homemade vinaigrette. And the strawberry flavor just shines through. It is a wonderful, wonderful dressing. I put it on a mixed green salad. I had some avocado and some feta cheese, and then I toasted up some almonds and added those for a nice crunch. Of course, you could add grilled chicken or Thrive Life chicken that you have refreshed. That would be delicious as well. This was a fantastic salad and a very quick vinaigrette recipe. And there's my baby, and he's so cute. All right, this is something that I made for my daughter. When she got home from school, she said, Mom, I want burritos. And so I thought, oh, yes, this is perfect. I can show them the instant refried beans. Thrive Life has these cooked pinto beans that have been smushed, and that's the only ingredient. It's pinto beans. And you can literally do just 3 tablespoons of these at a time, and the rest of the can will not go bad on you. It's amazing. If you see that it's still a little bit hard, you can just add more water and cook it a little bit longer. That's what I ended up doing. Yes, you can buy canned refried beans, but then you have to deal with the rest of the can. And our family is just it's just the three of us at home right now. So Hallie's off at college, and I just don't do a good job of using the rest of the can. So I like the fact that I can customize the amount of food I am cooking for my family so as not to waste the rest of it. The refried beans are really easy. It's just beans, that's the only ingredient, so you do have to season them up. You can use salt and pepper, garlic powder, whatever you want. Some adobo would be great in there. I added some cheese that I had in my refrigerator. You could refresh Thrive Life cheese, of course, and add that. I just heated that up a little bit and then I got the tortillas ready. And since this is for my daughter, these are just regular tortillas. They're just regular flour tortillas that I got at Walmart. These are not the low carb tortillas, but you could definitely use the low carb tortillas. Either one would work. I just did kind of a fold method here to keep the beans and the beef inside the tortilla. I heated up some avocado oil on the stove, and once it got hot, then I went ahead and fried these. They were about the size of a little grocery store burrito, a frozen burrito that you might get at a convenience store. They were about that size, so they were perfect for her. I thought, oh, yes, I know what I'm going to do. I had leftover queso, and my child, who was born with a queso stomach, says, oh, queso goes on everything, Mom. So, yeah, I'm going to put the leftover queso on the burritos. I heated it back up in the microwave with a little bit of milk to thin it out, and it was perfect. It just poured up perfectly. It's absolutely delicious, even as leftovers. So there are our bean and beef burritos. Ashley loved them. She gave them 2 thumbs up. All right, well, this is the last dinner I have for you. It is a tortilla pizza night for our family, and I have another video up on my channel that has the recipe that I use. I think I give measurements and everything on that recipe. You can look for that one if you're interested in it. I just kind of wanted to talk about the ingredients today. So our family loves the sausage crumbles and the ground beef. But I typically like to pulse them in the blender before I refresh them. I just a little zap or two as a pulse in the blender. It creates more surface area is what it does. It gets them into smaller pieces, creates more surface area, and they refresh quicker, and I like the texture better. That right there that I just put in the bowl, that is the pulled pork. I had mine in the freezer, and I need to tell you this. If you open the pulled pork, now it says this on the can, but if you open the pulled pork and don't use the whole can, you need to put your leftovers in the freezer. That is the only thing that I know of that Thrive Life sells right now that has to be used up within 2 weeks. If you're not going to use the remainder of the can of pulled pork within 2 weeks, then just pop the whole thing in the freezer. I got mine out of the freezer and used it for this recipe, and it was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it at all, and it had been in the freezer for probably 8 months, and it was still delicious. So I am going to make several different pizzas. I'm going to do a pulled pork with pineapple and onions. I'm going to do a supreme. That's what all these veggies are for here. And I'm going to eat those two on a low carb tortilla that I'm going to fry up. And I'm going to make a mitza or whatever you call it, like a meat lovers for my husband. And that's kind of what I do for my daughter as well. So when you refresh the vegetables, they just kind of need a little bit of water, not a lot. After you refresh the vegetables, I had a hot skillet from frying up the tortillas for the pizza crust. I went ahead and threw the veggies in there. They were already rehydrated. There was a little bit of oil in that skillet. And for me, I prefer the sauteed vegetables, so I just threw them in there. 3 of our pizzas had regular red pizza sauce, marinara sauce, and then one of them I was going to do the pulled pork on, so I used a barbecue sauce. That's a sugar-free barbecue sauce that I really like, and those are low-carb tortillas. So here's the pulled pork, and it's mixed with the green chilies and the pineapple, and the only thing I had to do was there was a little bit of water left over in the bottom of the bowl, and I soaked it up with a paper towel. That right there is the sausage and the beef. And the same thing. Whatever was left, there was just a little bit of water left, and I drained it and then soaked up the remainder with a paper towel. That right there is just regular pepperoni from the fridge. And then there are my sauteed vegetables for my supreme pizza. I had just grocery store mozzarella cheese that I used. We do have mozzarella. You could rehydrate and use that. Those right there are just some green onions from my garden. That's fresh basil that I have growing. And Drew wanted it, but Ashley did not. Whenever I put fresh basil on a pizza, I like to sprinkle it with oil so it will kind of fry in the oven and not just burn. And Parmesan is great on everything. And a little bit of heat for some of the pizzas. About 10 minutes at 400, and this is what we had. They were wonderful. And I went ahead and got the pizzas off and just cut them up for Drew and Ashley so that they could go ahead and eat while I took the pictures. They wanted to eat and watch the X-Files. So that's what they did. But they were beautiful pizzas. That's just a little bit of a ranch drizzle that I put on the pulled pork barbecue pizza. Ashley likes to dip her pepperoni and meat pizza in ranch dressing. I think it's delicious too. That's it. That's the last one. This is the pizza that we had for dinner together. Thrive Lifestyle. Thank y'all so much for joining me in the kitchen as I prepared meals for me and for my family this week. This was really fun for me to do, and I just appreciate you watching. Please leave me a comment and let me know if any of those recipes look good to you, or if you want to see something else from me. If you're interested in purchasing any of the ingredients that you see featured in my videos, please visit my shopping link and you can shop and have the groceries delivered straight to your door. Right now, Thrive Life is available in the USA and in Canada. And if you join the monthly delivery service, you can earn free shipping at $99 and above. I highly recommend that to save money. Okay, thanks again, y'all. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.